Viewers, in the zeal to oppose Modi and Shah, a leading light of the privileged Lutyens lobby has issued a shocking call for subverting the law that underpins the NPR exercise in this country. Remember, the NPR, another word for a census, will be conducted in this country between April and September of 2020, which means in about 4 months, the process will begin. It is underwritten by an authority that is set up under the constitutional scheme of things. Now, mocking the centre's decision to conduct the National Population Register, Arundhati Roy has called upon the people of India, and in particular one community, to boycott the census exercise. The Lutyens lobby calls itself the most informed set of opinion makers in this country. They claim to be the last word on constitutionalism. They arrogate to themselves the moral high ground and the right to speak on behalf of India's marginalized. Now, if this is the case, will they today condemn Arundhati Roy's statement, which is an incitement to breaking the law, viewers? A constitutional process. First, listen to the statement. Pay attention to the words she uses. Some of them are palpably offensive. An analogy is drawn where she refers to convicted kidnappers and murderers and alleged violators, Ranga and Billa. Listen to this.
NPR NRC का डेटाबेस बनेगा, हाँ आने लगे हैं। तो हम लोग वैसे हमको लड़ना चाहिए, रोज लड़ना चाहिए, लेकिन इनके खिलाफ हम 4 साल रोज हम नहीं लड़ सकते ना। तो क्या करेंगे हम? एक तो इनको 4 साल देना नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन हमारे पास एक प्लान भी होना चाहिए। जब आपके घर में आएंगे NPR लेके, जब आपको अपना नाम पूछेंगे, आपको दूसरा नाम दे दो। हम लोग 5 नाम तय करते हैं, रंगा बिल्ला रख दो या कुंफू कुत्ता रख दो, 7 रेस कोर्स रोड एड्रेस दे दो और एक फोन नंबर तय कर लेते हैं हम। लेकिन बहुत सारा सबवर्जन को करना पड़ेगा हमें। सिर्फ लाठी खाने और गोली खाने के लिए नहीं पैदा हुए हैं हम, और भी सोच के करना पड़ेगा।
This comment, this call is problematic. Only someone very privileged, cosseted from the reality of India could make a comment like this. Ms. Roy is not only inciting one community to break the law, but by calling for the sabotage of the NPR, she is hurting the poorest of the poor. Does she realize this? I don't think so. From her ivory tower, from her very privileged view, she doesn't understand that the NPR helps the state identify the recipients of welfare measures and targeted subsidies. Some of the poorest in our country depend on these subsidies, viewers. The NPR was first conducted by the UPA. Why? Because they came up with the jam trinity: Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, Mobile, so that people who really need life support can be given it. So if you want to today boycott this exercise, you are doing immense damage to the poorest in this country. There are other reasons. It valorizes, this call valorizes the defiance of a constitutionally mandated exercise, viewers. It undermines the writ of a democratically elected government, potentially jeopardizes, as I told you, the delivery of life-saving social schemes, incites one section of the community towards separatism, takes no onus for legal consequences people may end up facing for breaking the law. Will she stand there and fight the cases of all the individuals who do this, who get misled by her, forgetting the consequences, land up in jail? Will she go out there and fight cases? No. She'll wash her hands off these people. Now, viewers, we caught up with Arundhati Roy, and I'll bring you an excerpt of the conversation we had with her. She repeated the call. We spoke to her about an hour or two after she had made this remark. She could have said that, look, I said it in the heat of the moment. Now, if one were to extend Arundhati Roy's logic, we could end up pushing India towards total anarchy. For example, if one were unhappy with the economy, would she endorse not paying taxes? If we are facing power cuts, will she endorse now not paying electricity bills? If the interest rate goes up, will she endorse people if they decide not to pay their EMIs? And if people suddenly say they don't like our government, will she endorse an open revolt? Will she endorse picking up arms? I don't know. This is very problematic, viewers, and it comes from someone who's an opinion maker. I'll play out what she said, but I want to open this out. The reason why Arundhati Roy has made these comments is because she's anti the National Population Register. And I want to bring in Dr. Anand Ranganathan here. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, look, we might all have our differences with the NPR. We may believe it leads to the NRC. We may think it is a jagged-edged census that discriminates. But is this any way of resisting? What are we doing?
Sorry, Rahul, I had to laugh. It was a brilliant monologue, and you completely outed her hypocrisy and her plan of action. By the way, thanks very much for having me, and a very happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to you and to all your viewers.
Thank you,
and
sir.
Everyone.
Thank you.
You know, Miss Arundhati Roy takes stupidity and illogic to such extreme levels. It can safely be assumed that not only is she smoking good weed, she's also consuming the meat of an animal grazing on even better weed. I'm not shocked that she's asking people to break the law, because that is what she's trained to do, being the follower of a deranged cult. What I'm shocked by, Rahul, is that she managed to even utter the acronym NPR correctly. Are you sure? Maybe she thinks it is National Public Radio or something. Remember that she said the Rafale aircraft carrier deal was a scam, and that the 1961 liberation of Goa was an upper caste Hindu state army waging a war against Christians. Then she associated the RSS and Hindutva with all that Hitler, Aryan, Nazi, Lebensraum in her book Listening to Grasshoppers, and this was subsequently picked up by the man who rubs dal makhani on his chest to attract the female of the species, aka Imran Khan, during his anti-370 abrogation Twitter rant. Remember also that in 2012, she claimed that Kashmir was never an integral part of India. And who can forget her calling Maoists as Gandhis with guns? Please understand, these people are prisoners of an ideology that has killed 100 million innocents around the world. They love Mao and Stalin and Pol Pot. What do you expect? They love anarchy and bloodshed while they rock on their armchairs and sip champagne. Their only job is to gift us some comic relief to us at the end of a tiring day. But today of all days, I mean Christmas Day, if I had divine powers, I'll ask Santa to put her back in a smelly sock and retrace his steps up a chimney and out of our TV screens and our homes. Amen. Merry Christmas.
Well, Nishant Verma, I mean, what do you make of this? Do you think there's a rationale for this? Do you think there is some logic that can defend this? I just want to ask you this tonight.
Let's understand it from a different tangent. There are people who make opinions. There are people who would not fall into the same bracket of opinion that I and you probably have. Now, she is an opinion maker, you rightly said, and she has an opinion. It's not about going against. She is saying that we are against the kind of NPR drama that is coming up. Dr. Anand Ranganathan may say whatever, but it has been time and again said by the MOS then, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, in the parliament and otherwise also, that NPR is the first stage of NRC.
And Congress as well.
Even the Congress has said it, sir.
And allow me to have my
So
side.
why are we
interrupt.
suddenly waking up to this reality?
I am giving the answer.
No, but you're
because
justifying in some ways what Arundhati Roy said. You say there is cause for her to get so emotional
2010.
and say these things. That's what you're saying.
In 2010.
No, are you? Yes, no.
In 2010, when Congress did talk about NRC, and
Sir, I'm only asking you a simple question.
NPR,
Do you endorse
Allow me
this
to complete.
extreme
Allow me to make my
diatribe?
point. Give me just
sir.
15-20 seconds.
You don't
and
want
then
to
I
take
can
a
be
position.
silent.
I don't know what you're
I'm
doing.
taking a position, and that's the reason I'm trying to tell you that
Okay.
when the talk of NPR happened in 2010, it was implemented in 2010 and 11. In 2013, nobody talks that the same government stopped it because UIDAI told the government that it's
Sir,
clashing
I began by
with
saying we
Aadhaar.
might have our differences
It's an
with the
important, it's a very
NPR,
important one.
but can we advocate a prescription
come
which
in?
is worse than the malady? I mean, some people think that it's a malady, fine, okay, they have their right, and it might turn out to be, I don't know. All I'm saying is, can the prescription be worse? The cure, in other words, be worse than the problem?
Tell me what to do while living in a country.
What to do?
While living in a country where
Sir,
you're
are you endorsing anarchy? Tomorrow people will... No, this is just the...
I am living in a country today where my ministers, right from home minister to others, lie through their teeth on a daily basis.
So we should combat lies with lies.
So we should fall for it. 4 साल के लिए दिया है
combat
तो
lies
बैठे
with
रहेंगे.
lies?
4 साल
No,
के
are
लिए
you
बैठे
saying we
मिला है,
should combat
बैठे
lies
रहेंगे.
with lies?
नहीं, please tell me, sir.
Should we
Please
combat
tell me,
lies
sir.
with lies? Should we
4
combat
साल के
violence
लिए
with
मिला है,
violence?
बैठे
Should we
रहेंगे.
combat anarchy with anarchy? Should we combat, sir? I mean, let's go down this list. I thought you
नहीं,
want
क्या
to...
करेंगे क्या?
करेंगे क्या?
हमारे
मतलब क्या
minister,
करेंगे क्या?
हमारे होम मिनिस्टर
You can protest, you can call for civil disobedience, but you can't fake and ask people who are poor, ill-informed. You're an opinion maker. You've got to take responsibility for what you're saying.
I am taking
Please
full
ask him if he pays
responsibility what I'm
taxes.
saying. I'm saying the home minister of this country lies every
Let me
single
bring
day.
in Mr.
Tell me
Mr.
what
Bhatia.
what should
Mr.
the country
Bhatia,
do?
the
What should
explanation,
the
okay,
country
fair
do?
enough, sir. Let me ask Mr. Bhatia. He represents the BJP. I'm asking you, Mr. Bhatia, the excuse or the logic is you pushed people to such a wall today through your lies, etc., that they find so objectionable that they are ready to even resort to anarchism. That's the charge. Can you respond, sir?
Yes. Rahul, see, such shallow arguments only come when you have not read the law, when you are intellectually and morally bankrupt. And that is the case of Arundhati Roy as well. Because these statements
Sir,
are actually
stop talking about Mr. Amit Shah like this.
They are
Okay.
illegal.
Stop talking about Mr. Amit Shah like
Let him
this.
finish his
No, it is not good
ठीक
on
है,
his
अब
part.
ठंडे हो
Can I
जाइए
make
सर.
my
Let him
point?
listen. बात को करने दो. आपको उन्होंने
क्या बात करेंगे वो?
अच्छा इंटरप्ट नहीं किया था.
Rahul, we
They
will not
didn't
debate
interrupt
it
you,
like
please.
this.
Let's not resort to
We will
anarchy. I
not
know you're
debate like
inspired.
the entire
I know
country.
you're inspired by
Who is
Arundhati
he to
Roy, but
interrupt?
come on, let her not influence you so much, sir. You have a mind of your own. Relax. 2 minutes तो ठंडे बैठिए.
Nishant Roy.
बोलिए Mr. Bhatia. Go on, Mr. Bhatia.
Yeah. Yes. So Rahul, just like Arundhati Roy, even the panelists who come on your program, because Congress doesn't have the courage to send their panelists or spokespersons to debate the issues. So certain people come. But I would only urge them to read the Indian Penal Code, to read the rules of the citizenship rules. And that itself makes it very clear, if you do not abide by what the law says, there are penal consequences. Second, I will just help Nishanji to understand. He said, what should we do? The only liar in the country is Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who was caught lying, and Supreme Court.
Sir, Mr. Modi has already slammed Mr. Amit Shah, and that is the reason yesterday we saw that small face. Do you know that, sir?
Okay.
The man called Amit Shah has been lying throughout in last 2 years,
Rahul,
and that's the reason.
No, explain. No, 1 minute. Let him finish. Let him finish, sir. Nishanji, let him finish. Dekhe, please, let him finish. Let him finish. You will have an opportunity to rebut.
Let him finish, but I won't let them finish this country. I'm telling you, sir.
ठीक है, sir. This is a very good thing that you are saying, but at least allow the other person.
I am telling it.
Sir, don't make me shout. It's Christmas Day. Let's relax a little bit. People are at home. They're with their families. Let's give them a good debate where we can get to the essence of the issue. We already have Arundhati Roy, who has framed it in the most bizarre circumstances and a bizarre perspective and context. Why do you want to go down that route? Now, relax, calm down. Mr. Bhatia, quickly, I want to ask you, have you pushed? Are?
Yes.
1 minute, sir. Calm down. I'm only asking you, Mr. Bhatia, you pushed people to such an extent that they're beginning to lose their, well, perspective on life. They're beginning to lose their, I mean, I don't want to borrow from Dr. Anand Ranganathan's book, but, unfortunately, you reduced them to a burlesque. Let's put it this way.
Rahul, if they had loved the country, if they truly loved the democracy that we talk about, then they would never go against the law of the land. And that is why, with some responsibility, I say, what they are doing is, they're trying to shred the constitution of India.
How dare you say so? How dare you utter these words? How dare you may be whoever comes from you may be whoever Gaurav Bhatia. How dare you question anyone's love for the country?
Debating.
We were not born in 2000.
Sir, you know who put a sedition case against Arundhati Roy? It was not the BJP. It was actually the UPA government. Ask them. Ask your friends in the Congress. What do you mean? How does it matter? They are the ones who are questioning her. They are the ones who are questioning her. No. They are the ones who question her intentions, sir, and her loyalty to this country. So don't try to today mislead the public even on this well-established fact.
Nobody is misleading, sir. It's a given
I'm
fact
only asking.
that Mr. Gaurav Bhatia has been talking about
Okay,
Mr.
1 minute. Let me open this up.
Not know the law.
आपको उनकी आवाज ठीक नहीं है क्या? आप पसंद नहीं आती, sir? क्या problem है?
Can I
Relax करिए.
complete my line at least, Rahul?
Let him finish his one line. I'll allow you. There is gentleman also next to you.
Other person, Gaurav Bhatia can come later.
No, but he's had an opportunity. Sir, I had to ask him the question that he raised. Now he's not allowing him to speak. Tell him not to interrupt, please. Yes, Mr. Bhatia, quickly come to the point. आपने लोगों का भेजा फ्राई कर दिया है. That's the reason why they are reacting like this.
He's
Please.
an SP man who joined BJP.
Okay, so राहुल भेजा फ्राई तो तब करेंगे जब भेजा होगा इनमें ना इनके अंदर आत्मा है जो देश से प्यार करे ना भेजा है.
Okay, so you're saying that she and others, okay, so oppose the NPR. Okay, 1 minute, let me get one second.
ये तमीज़दारी है BJP national spokesperson की जो ये कह रहा है लोगों को कि भेजा नहीं है तुम्हारे में भेजा है भाई भेजा है.
Okay.
Substantive and a standard.
Yeah,
ये गोबर
please, 1 minute. Let's get back to the
आपकी भाषा में
1 minute. 1 minute.
भेजे में.
Please, sir, please, don't do a disservice to also the gentleman sitting next to you and the others in the studio. Please. Now, you allow people to speak. Please come up with a substantive intervention. These people are saying that there's lies being spoken on a daily basis by the Prime Minister and the Union Home Minister. That's what they're saying on this particular issue. How do you respond to that?
Now,
Shahzad
I would request Nishant, just give me 30-40 seconds to respond, and if you can come.
You
back.
take a minute, sir, 2 minutes. If you have a substantive point to make it.
Gaurav, I request you also.
Yeah.
Ironically, this entire movement against the CAA, NRC, and now the NPR is being carried out in the names of two people, Gandhiji and Ambedkar, both of whom said that eye for an eye and grammar of anarchy should be avoided.
Okay.
And here we have somebody advocating the breaking of the rule of law, not by herself, but by poor people who will face the consequences. Now, let me bring 3 or 4 points. Is there, Rahul Shivshankar, something called a secular NPR and a communal NPR? Because Times Now, today at 11:30 or 12 a.m., broke a brilliant story where they said that in 2011, the Home Minister under the Congress government got up in Parliament and said, here, sir, NPR is a precursor to the NRC. And if that was secular, then that's why did Arundhati Roy not advocate this principle? Now, second point that I want to make. These rules were notified under which this NPR is going to be done in 2003. The UPA did the first exercise in 2010 and it was redone, it was updated in 2015, and the notification for this current thing was done in 2019 July.
Yes.
No words were said then. So the question is that one second, so please
Let him finish. Let him finish, sir. Let him finish.
I'm summing up.
Please let him
I
finish.
request you.
Patience.
Patience. Without facts.
Patience, sir. Patience.
Please, I request you, Nishant, it is Christmas Day. Please give me Santa's gift of just completing my point.
Patience.
Is it that because the entire propaganda on CAA and NRC has now been silenced, that NPR is being used as a new tool before elections? Now, because we are quoting parliamentary statements, there are two more pieces of important evidence. First time I want to show on Times Now.
Okay, what?
First piece of evidence is that they have quoted Kiran Rijiju in Parliament. Great.
Yes.
Another minister of the government, current government, got up in Parliament and he was asked specifically by the Congress party on, please.
Mr. Chaudhary, नाम बता रहा हूँ यार.
Mr. Haribhai Chaudhary was asked.
नाम दे रहा हूँ मैं. आप क्या बता रहे हो?
ओके सर, ठीक है. आपको फैक्ट्स पता है, इनको भी पता है, इनको बोलने दीजिए ना सर. अगर
Mr.
आपको इतने
Haribhai
फैक्ट्स पता था, आपने बोल देना था.
Mr. Kiran Rijiju's statement and MHA documents are important. Haribhai Chaudhary was asked specifically point blank, is it going to be used to identify citizens? NPR. He said capital N, capital O, and forget that. Arundhati Roy's problem is
Get to the point. What's the point? 2007, 2000, what is the point?
The last piece of evidence, which for the first time I'm showing on Times Now. This entire thing is being linked to CAA and to NRC.
It is being linked, sir. The NRC,
Yes,
they are
wrongly.
saying, is discriminating against Muslims.
Now let me bring out the facts. Arundhati Roy's favorite party, the Lutyens' favorite party, Congress, backed citizenship only for Pakistani Hindus, only in 2 states of Gujarat and Rajasthan. And this is a Times of India report.
What
which
are you
says,
saying?
And that too also through an amendment in the Citizenship Act. So it was not just
What is this document?
This is a document that shows that an amendment was made only for Hindus. The BJP did it for 6 communities. The Congress did it for 2, just for 1 community, the Hindu community, from 2005 to 2007, only in 2 states of Gujarat and Rajasthan. Now I want to ask, if this was your problem, NPR was linked to NRC, the CAA only spoke of Pakistani Hindus, why wasn't this opposition done then? Was it a secular NPR? Was it a secular CAA?
Viewers, here it is. This is a Times of India report. It's part of the Times group. The headline is, Congress backs citizenship for Pakistani Hindus. It says, on a day when Congress chief Sonia Gandhi extended support to the ongoing anti-CAA protests, BJP claimed that Congress was a long-time proponent of citizenship to minorities, taking refuge in India due to religious persecution in neighboring Islamic countries. Sharing details of the Citizenship Amendment Rules 2004 brought by the then NDA government, BJP said the subsequent Congress government had agreed with the changes in the citizenship rules. Through the amendment, the procedure for registration in Indian citizens, I'm underlining this, viewers, was relaxed in Gujarat and Rajasthan for Pakistani nationals of minority Hindu community displaced consequent to wars of 65 and 71 between India and Pakistan, dependence on such persons married to Indians or persons of Indian origin. And the UPA government of that time extended the rule for 1 year by a notification on February 22, 2005. Then again, the UPA government extended the rule for another 1 year. The rule remained in force for 3 years till 2007.
Hypocrisy is thy middle name, Nishan.
Mahmood Paracha. Mahmood Paracha.
Don't need that from you.
Mahmood Paracha. Where were you?
He was in the Congress.
Where were you?
He was in the Congress.
He was in the Congress party then. Today you are supporting the Bhim army. Where were you? You didn't have a protest march against the Congress party? You tell me now. कहाँ थे आप जब कांग्रेस ने ये बदला और सिर्फ हिंदुओं को हिंदू माइनॉरिटीज फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान को जो आज मोदी कर रहे हैं एकदम वही किया तो आप कहाँ थे जब कांग्रेस ने ये किया था आज आप बड़े उतावले हो रहे हैं टुडे यू आर हिटिंग द स्ट्रीट्स टेल मी वेयर वर यू
Can I answer now?
Please.
Rahul, answer.
Please, sir,
If
please.
you stop shouting, I will start answering.
Please, I'm only asking you a question.
I have been I have been consistently saying that there are RSS elements in Congress party also.
You were part of the Congress then.
If you remember,
करने दीजिए
I have
उनको.
told you
Let him finish.
so many times. So,
RSS elements.
who is
The
this
Union
gentleman
Home
laughing
Minister
for?
was an RSS man. Chidambaram.
Merry Christmas to him.
Was Chidambaram an RSS man? Now this happened, I'll
There
tell
are
you
many
when.
people.
This happened in 2007. It must have been Shivraj
I
Patil.
will.
Union Home Minister was Shivraj Patil, I think, at this time.
Sushil Shinde and Shivraj Patil, yes.
2004.
RSS guy. Yeah.
Sushil Shinde. Sir, he must be right now
gentleman laughing
going
for?
mad if you're going to call him an RSS man. A man who released a book.
Sir,
No,
I
one
have
second.
Hindu terror.
Hindu terror book. He's an RSS man.
Even Sonia Gandhi. Sonia
क्या
Gandhi
कह
is
रहे
an
हैं सर
RSS
आप?
plant.
उस टाइम तो NSA में there was a very important gentleman who writes articles saying that he'll declare himself a Muslim if the NRC is conducted. He was on NSC of Sonia Gandhi. Even he was quiet. I'm not going to take his name.
Does any one of you have any content?
Harsh Mandar, you have taken the name.
Does anyone else
Sir, NSC.
Hypocrisy.
This article has not been read in full.
I have read it, sir, in full. I have quoted the whole article in full.
You have the article. You have
आप झूठ मत बोलिए, sir.
Give me 10 seconds.
So
You
many
have
people
letting hypocrisy go.
Hold on, Shehzadpura wala. You have quoted the Times of India
Shout me
article.
down.
Now hold on. The Times
So
of
many
India article
people
also
shout me
reads
down.
that this extension
Rahul,
was given
this shows
for the
your
displaced
intellect.
Indians.
So I said so.
Displaced Indians.
Of two words. तो मैंने पढ़ा, आप सुन नहीं रहे थे.
Please
Were you not
hold on.
listening?
Please hold on.
An exemption on religion is an exemption on religion, sir. It doesn't matter what point.
Intellect
For
combined.
the 65,
शर्म कीजिए.
71 war displaced.
this is your
It was
intellect
not
combined.
persecuted
So
Hindus.
no.
It was
So
not
are you
persecuted
saying no Hindus are
Hindus.
persecuted?
Oh, come on, sir.
No Hindus are
You,
persecuted.
Shehzadpura
No Hindus are
misquoted
persecuted.
TOI today. You
My God,
misquoted
sir.
it.
My God, my
It was
God,
not
my
from
God.
persecuted
Let me bring it.
Hindus in
1 minute.
Pakistan.
1
It
minute.
was
ठीक है,
from
sir.
the displaced family.
Only Mr. Nishant Verma. Okay,
How
relax.
misleading.
ठीक है, okay.
This
Only
is the
Nishant
reason,
Verma
Rahul,
can
this is
believe
why
that
President
after.
Narendra
Can you allow me?
Modi
Can you allow me?
cannot be
I read
trusted.
it. I read it
At all.
exactly.
Where
1
is the
minute.
persecution in it?
Paracha, relax.
Where is the persecution?
Can you please,
Yes,
sir?
all
Can you
Rahul,
please?
do
1
you
minute.
have any shame?
Viewers,
Your panelists have any shame?
1 minute. I'm going to lower your fader if you keep on and on.
Do you
Serious
any
charge is
have-
being made. I want to come in here. Anyone who today says that Hindus in Pakistan have never been persecuted for their religion after the two wars are living in cloud cuckoo land. Now, viewers, you will remember there was a cricketer in Pakistan. He was a Christian, Yusuf Yuhana. There was another one called Anil Dalpat. I'm talking about two very popular figures. Both had to change their names. Why? Why? Sir, can you come in on this? Are we saying the Hindus are not persecuted
No.
after
It is
that?
a state.
There's,
Suddenly
Not
after
the one
71
who
Hindus
was
were
in
stopped
India.
persecution?
Because
for your
it is
entire
a
show,
state.
I will need
You
only
want
2 to
to-
3
the
minutes.
light-
Please allow him to speak now.
In India.
Uninterrupted.
Chopra Saab, allow him to speak.
Number
Yes.
one, I can
You
very
haven't
openly
given me a
say
chance to
that
say
I
a
don't
word.
agree with whatever Arundhati Roy is saying.
I salute you, sir.
Number two,
At least you have courage of conviction.
number two, Honorable Home Minister
Yes.
was not stating facts the way they are available, saying that
Sure.
NPR. No, Rahul, even you will not please.
I'm not,
interrupt
I'm just
me.
saying, sure, I'm agreeing with
Just listen
you.
to me. Give me
Yeah.
2 uninterrupted
Sure,
minutes.
sure, go ahead.
He is saying that NPR will have nothing to do with
NRC.
NRC.
Yes.
Now you realize the record. I mean, there are important newspapers which brought out that 9 times the matter was raised that
I brought it
NPR
out
would
last night, sir.
logically lead to NRC.
Yes.
No, NRC is discriminatory even in the light of Citizenship Amendment Act. You were talking about the state policy changes that the Congress government had brought in. Now you realize that here is a fundamental element of constitution being violated when NAA, that is Citizenship Amendment Bill, is being brought in.
No, serious violations are taking place. Number one, no, Shahzad, you will not interrupt.
Let him finish. You can all respond to him. Let him first make his point, sir. Please.
Now the question is, Rahul, you please tell me, being an editor of an important channel,
yes,
whom should we believe? The Home Minister, somebody else? What facts on the ground? So you and I will go by the facts which are there.
I want to say one thing, viewers. Yesterday, on this very channel, at this very time, I said that today there are 3 versions that have come out of government. On the website, there is something else. The Home Minister was saying something else.
Exactly.
The Prime Minister is saying something else, all within 72 hours or so. And therefore, I asked Mr. Gaurav Bhatia rather. I asked Mr. Gaurav Bhatia very, very clearly. Bhatia Saab, people are saying, fine, forget Arundhati Roy for a moment. Maybe she's in an extreme end. But people are saying, who do we believe today?
Exactly. This is the question, Rahul.
What do we do?
People are.
So you need to answer this question.
Can I respond?
Yeah, please. And let him respond now.
I will.
Yeah, please.
I will, and I will only.
Please, sir. Nishanji, let him respond.
So
let him respond.
Three things need to be discussed here, since they've been brought in. First is the CAA. For the CAA, we've had a number of debates, Rahul, and now the validity of the amendment is before the Honorable Supreme Court. There is a presumption in law till a law is struck down, it is held to be valid. Let's wait for the Supreme Court verdict. Let's now come to the NPR. NPR, it's a known fact. First exercise conducted under NPR was done under the Manmohan Singh government. At that time, NPR was fine. Today, it's not. Why? NPR, they are trying to spread a propaganda is equal to NRC. Let me now clarify that doubt also. NPR is not equal to NRC. Very categorically, I am saying what Amit Shah ji said. Second, NRC draft has still not been prepared. It is not in public domain. The government will bring it out, and the rules themselves stipulate that there has to be a notification, and only after that the NRC exercise can be undertaken, otherwise not. No such notification is in place. Now come to the NPR. NPR, this is very, very valuable for your viewers also. NPR will determine who are the usual residents of India. By usual residents, they have been in India for 6 months, or they intend to also extend their stay by another 6 months. No documentary proof is required. It is self-declaratory. And also the fact, nobody would be forced to give details if they don't wish to.
Okay.
This is completely different from NRC.
Okay.
So what the Prime Minister is saying and what the Home Minister is saying is exactly
2 rebuttals coming your way.
There should be no doubt. But the opposition parties want to spread fear. They want to divide society, which is unacceptable.
Okay. He's made an important point. Would you like to respond first?
Very quickly. Mr. Bhatia should be able to answer on your channel, Rahul. Will new NPR will have same sort of questions as they were there in 2010? So many changes have been brought in, and they are also going to ask questions about your parents' place of birth, the date of birth. These are the things which will finally go into making NRC.
This is what,
and if, in the light of his statements made on the floor of the parliament.
But we don't know what the NRC looks like. So why are you creating a fear? That's the question.
Honorable Home Minister said,
let him respond. Okay, let him respond. Let him respond. You asked a clarification. Bhatia Saab, respond now. He's saying the questions have changed. Why have they changed? Number one, 1 second. Number one, and is this being done intentionally to load back end of the NRC so that you know exactly who is a Muslim foreigner and who is somebody else from another faith, and then discriminate amongst them? Yes. Response, sir.
And sir, first of all, I'm very grateful to you that you asked me this question. Second, I hope you will listen to my response as attentively as I heard your question. So Rahul, the set of questions for the NPR, they are not in public domain yet. Second, let me make it very clear, it cannot be discriminatory. Third, it is not mandatory. And yes, with time, the NPR also needs to have a set of questions that are more informative, so that on the basis of that information, the social welfare schemes that require
But what
this
is the
data
social
are
welfare
made
got to
more
do with the
effective for
father
common man?
of the recipient? That's the question, that is, and his location
Date of birth.
and his
No.
date of birth.
And place of birth.
The set of questions,
Okay.
Rahul, the
Okay.
set of questions that will be asked at least are not in my knowledge, or they are not in public domain.
Sir,
Some
I don't know,
newspapers have
because
started
I have
reporting
seen-
such questions.
I have seen the
think we
draft.
should exercise restraint.
I have seen the drafts. Your own colleague Amit Malviya, in fact, tweeted the draft questionnaire. So I don't know why you are saying they're not
But
in the
it's a
public
draft.
domain. Okay,
It's
one
not
minute.
final
I want to
yet.
bring in Dr. Anand.
Rahul,
One second.
it's not
One
final
second.
yet. It's only a draft.
No, 1 second, sir. I'll come to you. Please. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, you were raising your hand. Please. Come
I-
in on this. Forget for 30 seconds what Arundhati, her
Yes.
absurd comments,
Very-
etc., etc. Answer this.
Amit Malviya.
Yes. Yeah, and can I please, Nishantji, I know you are the god of small things, and I don't want to elaborate on what I mean, but please don't interrupt me. Rahul,
Yeah.
no, sorry, who was it who laughed? No,
It was Shehzad. Yes,
hang
go
on.
ahead.
Maybe god of very small things. And what
It's good to make us
I want to
smile
say
at
just
least,
one point.
Anandji.
You know, Shehzad has brought out a very explosive point, and Nishantji was rebutting him, saying that it was only because of war-torn people. Can he rebut me when I give you 10th August 2015, the Congress demanded citizenship for Bangladeshi minorities, not Bangladeshi refugees, that could have meant Bangladeshi Muslims as well, but Bangladeshi minorities on 10th of August 2015. Nishantji, it's a straight question.
I would like
Before
to
I
answer.
answer the NPR and NRC question.
I would like to answer. Dr. Saab, Rule 6 of the Citizenship Act itself permits what you are asking. There was nothing to get an amendment for that. So your answer is there. You can open your laptop and see right now before this program ends. Thank you.
Minorities.
Doesn't matter, sir. I
Minorities.
understand.
No, you're being
Nobody's
selective
saying
now.
no.
No, Nishant Verma.
I am giving a straight
it's
answer.
okay. जब
I am
कांग्रेस
giving a
करे
straight
तो
answer.
secular,
I
जब
am giving a
बीजेपी
straight-
करे
Why are
तो
you twisting?
communal,
Why
ये
are you
क्या
twisting?
चक्कर है?
For
No, when the
minorities,
Congress
for
does it, it's
minorities.
secular. When the BJP does
अरे भाई,
it, it's communal. Do you
minorities
change?
को
No,
कब बना
first you
दिया है?
said,
उसके लिए amendment नहीं चाहिए
first you
था.
said, oh, the
Rule
Congress
6
did it twice
schedule
because
already
you
बोलता
see,
है, दे सकते
during
हैं.
the war in Pakistan, Hindus
हाँ,
were
तो
given a bad
sir,
time.
वो तो शहजाद पूरी
ठीक है,
ने
चलो,
गलत quote किया.
चलो, no,
Because
गलत नहीं quote किया. He read it all out. I read it all out. I read it all out, sir. I read it.
Show me the
Chapter
word
and verse.
persecuted. Even I have that with me.
It is written here and I read it out. I
There
don't
is
know
the
what you
word
were doing.
persecuted. Show the line.
Arey, I'm not talking about persecuted.
We are talking persecuted. Nothing else.
So in 71
This law
they were
is about
persecuted. After
persecuted,
71, no Hindus were persecuted
Arey,
in
that is
Pakistan.
not the
What are you
question
saying?
here. For that
Come
Rule
on, what
6
are you saying?
exists.
Look, sir,
For
you are now
that
as
Rule 6
absurd.
exists.
You are now as absurd, and maybe that's why you
Oh,
called you the
sir,
god
I'm
of small
very
things.
clear.
Anyhow, let me. Okay, one second.
want to
Dr.
I
Anand
want to-
Ranganathan wants to rebut.
Sure. I have
Let
a
him.
point
Let
of-
him. Let him. He wants to rebut.
It's
He
God
wants
of
to
very
rebut.
small things.
You know that Rule 6 exists.
He wants to
Nobody needs an amendment for
Please,
that.
sir, please don't today say that it existed. Then it was okay. Today it's now it's
Rahul,
being
71
reinforced.
का displace
So it's
था,
bad.
तो
You
अटल
can't
जी ने
have it.
क्यों
You
नहीं
can't
बना
hunt with the hounds and run with the hares.
तो
sir.
बेकार की बात
One
है,
second,
sir.
one
This is
second, one
not
second, one second, one
yeah.
second.
Don't fall into this trap.
Dr. Anand Ranganathan, come in here quickly. I need to move on after this. Yes.
Yes, very quickly. You see, both the Congress and the BJP have been saying, and they have accepted through President's speech, which is written by the government for the President, that the NPR is going to precede the NRC. This is accepted. I don't know why Congress is saying that this is all not acceptable or whatever. Point number two, it is also correct that no documents would be asked. Now, Nishantji, please, I didn't interrupt you. No documents will be asked or demanded during the NPR exercise. But if you have read the NPR, the brochure that is given by the census authorities to the people who conduct the NPR, it is clearly written, and this is where Arundhati Roy has to be taken to task. It is clearly written, and please read my lips. It is clearly written that in case anyone does not declare the date of birth, you have to demand a certificate or proof. You have to demand to see the date of birth certificate.
I must tell Dr.
There you
Anand
go.
I'm
Ranganathan,
challenging you.
There you go.
NPR is
Can't
not
have a
supposed to be
debate.
the ground for census. Where are you reading it from? You have a census
But here
act
is the
which is
doubt.
different from Citizenship Act. Now
Let me
NPR
quote some
falls
laws
under
which are-
Citizenship Act 1955. It has no relation with the census. Come on, sir.
No,
Come on,
one second,
sir.
1 second, please.
This
sir,
government is faking
Please,
each
no.
and every
Have you read the
document.
objectives and the statements of
Sir, you started the
of
program.
intent? No, have you read it?
started
Have
the
you read the
program.
preface,
You started the
sir?
program
Have you
by
have you read the
saying what
preface?
Dr. Anand
This
Ranganathan
is an
is
attempt to
trying conclude.
reconcile
Census has
data
got nothing to do with
collected
NPR.
under Aadhaar as well as NPR. In many states, Aadhaar has taken place, sir, under UAIDI, that authority. Now we are holding once again in NPR.
And
it was
says
yes.
you cannot force them to disclose the
You
documents.
can't force, and
but
this
you have
is
to
the
repeatedly
problem.
ask,
The
repeatedly
problem is
ask to be shown the certificate.
obfuscation. There is a political vested interest in trying
Yes.
to, at
So
some
somebody
level
can
or the
lie.
other,
So
inside
somebody
a
can lie.
community,
I think
it
he's
might be
qualified.
all around, sir. I'm not denying it. I'm not.
vested
But
interest.
today
There are
when
vested
people, no, 1
interests in the
minute,
government
I
also.
think it's very important, and I'm asking Mr. Chopra this question. I think it's very important today that we as Indians, show people their place when they try to incite other Indians against Indians, other Indians. We cannot have a situation like this. Why are you doing this? Denounce what Arundhati
Why
Roy
don't
said.
you show the Prime Minister and Home Minister their place? The Prime Minister and Home Minister are doing exactly that.
Okay, so two wrongs make a right. Okay, if that's the logic,
Our answer
then the
to them
entire
is
country
clear.
will go to hell in a handbasket. And I would have thought, 1 minute, I would have thought,
नेशनल पॉपुलेशन रजिस्टर बना रहे हैं।
ठीक है, ठीक
मतलब ये क्या बात है?
ठीक।
गौरव भाटिया जी बताइए कि स्कूल में बिना बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट के एडमिशन मिलता है। जब स्कूल में एडमिशन नहीं मिलता बिना डॉक्यूमेंट के, आप एनपीआर बना रहे हैं और 13,000 करोड़ रुपए खर्च कर रहे हैं। थोड़ा सा दिमाग तो लगाइए।
अरे आप पढ़ ले,
थोड़ा दिमाग लगाइए। अब मैं कुछ भी बोल दूंगा, आप लिख लेंगे। एनपीआर
थोड़ा पढ़ लिख आप भी तो जाइए। एनपीआर को पढ़िए तो क्या है?
Gaurav,
If I ask you,
specific
will you be
questions.
able to even tell
ठीक है,
where the
Gaurav.
NPR provision is? You won't be able to tell.
I have two specific questions for you, and please
Yes.
answer them to the point. A, Assam has been left out, as we have seen, and they are now saying that because NRCs happened, so Assam no NPR is required. One second, sir, please let me articulate. You are wasting your own time.
Sorry.
And secondly, there is a category of doubtful citizenship under Rule 4 of 2003 rules under which this is being conducted. Now, you can give one clarification and all ends here. Please tell us that no doubtful citizens category is being created under NPR. That one statement by you as a national spokesperson ends the debate. Just say that no doubtful citizens on the saying of some community leaders or some people coming and randomly complaining or of some official trying to put it as doubtful citizens under these questions. And I don't know why mother and father's details are required unless it's connected to the 1987 part of the
Now can I
Citizenship
respond,
Act.
Shahzad?
Yeah.
I heard your question.
Sure.
Please
Sunidhi.
take the response.
Okay.
Yes. The exclusion of Assam has been necessary for one reason, that the matter relating to the NRC is pending before the Honorable Supreme Court, even as we discuss this. So Assam has a unique position where the
Rahul,
Supreme
can you
Court
please
is
call Amit
monitoring
Shah
the
ji to
exercise
ask
of
him
NRC,
whether
which
I
is
can say
far
a few
more
words or
exhaustive
not.
than NPR. So therefore, the government rightly so decided to exclude Assam, and
Okay.
nobody can have a problem with that. On your second point, that you said doubtful usual residents, so I would only say when it is not mandatory and when an exercise is to be carried as per law and when the draft of the questions is not yet finalized, why should we spread this kind of fear mongering? Let's wait for the final draft. Let's see what is the essence and spirit of that draft, and then we can have a debate on it. And
Okay,
it is also
well,
prone to be challenged
viewers,
before the court if someone has agreed. But no level of fear mongering should
Don't
be allowed.
confuse. Don't confuse. Don't
that's
confuse.
what you just said.
Sir, no
That
one
it
is
was-
denying it. Everyone is telling you. The documents themselves are telling you.
तो बिना
So,
डॉक्यूमेंट के
अरे,
स्कूल में
सुन तो
एडमिशन नहीं
लीजिए
मिलता
ना,
है सर।
सुन तो
ये
लीजिए।
क्या बना रहे हैं?
They are saying this is-
13,000 करोड़ रुपए, ये मेरे को लगता
Sir,
है
this
ये
is
कोई
only a
scam है।
listing.
अब ये
This is
scam
only
है।
a listing. That's what
अब
they are
इनके
saying.
कॉन्ट्रैक्टर स्कैम करेंगे देखना।
Okay, well, this is what they are
पैसा
saying.
खाना
You have listened to both sides.
सारा कानून आप ही के चैनल पे पढ़ेंगे राहुल जी।
ठीक है, देखिए.
सर, पढ़ लीजिए।
At
He
the end
wants
of the
to
day,
understand
viewers,
the entire
an
law
exercise
right
is
now
going to be conducted.
without doing
Now, 1 minute. I just want to very quickly move on. But before that, I want to say a couple of words. Please, as citizens, we must follow the law of the land. We can challenge it in a court of law. Each one of us can move the Supreme Court if we find it disagreeable. But don't break the law, viewers. You will end up in a bad consequence. We've heard some of our more balanced panelists tonight, like Rizwan Kaisar, Shehzad Poonawala. You've had Dr. Anand Ranganathan, who've said that let's not flirt with the law. There will be consequences if you do so. And I can tell you, none of the Latvian set is going to come out there and fight your cases for you. So, comply. The matter is in court. The CAA specifically is in court. Let us see. There is still time. 5 months are there. Do your duty as an honest citizen. Hopefully, the government will also do its duty as an honest government by you. Intent, yes. Intent must meet intent. If we, as citizens, are going to be honest, we expect our government to be honest.
That's it.
Maybe we will force our government with our honesty to be honest.
Thank you.
I love that.
That's a
And I move on now. I move on. And we must, if we are talking about accountability, pay attention to this story. Every time a rioter picks up a stone, torches a bus, breaks a barricade, it's the taxpayer who foots the bill. Now, there have been protests going on in Uttar Pradesh against the CAA. A lot of public property has been destroyed. The Yogi government has today issued notices to several alleged vandals after putting out their faces on a most wanted list, getting the community to identify them. They have sent them notices to pay up. They want these individuals to pay up collectively 14 lakhs in damages. They have 1 week to pay up, or their assets will be attached. The opposition is attacking the Yogi government for saying that you are focusing only on the vandals and not on the police. You're being selective. Now, viewers, we have seen visuals on both sides. And I'm going to split the screen for you. You'll see various protesters resorting to vandalism. You'll also see the police, as you can see in those pictures, resorting to vandalism. And I want to ask the basic question tonight. Where does accountability begin? Does it begin with the vandals or from the vandals, or does it begin with the state? And let's throw this open tonight and ask the basic question. Nishant Verma, Rizwan Kaisar, Mahmood Paracha, Gaurav Bhatia and Shehzad Poonawala. I want to begin with you first, Shehzad Poonawala and Gaurav Bhatia. Do you accept face on that there is selectivity here?
No, I do not accept it, because 52 cops have received bullet wounds. 30 RAF Jawans have been injured. Had they not taken the action they are allowed to take by law, there would have been 82 deaths of cops and people in uniform. Secondly, stones were brought in tempos in Mangaluru. You showed that entire conspiracy. You showed that there were people moving the CCTV so that the footage, the evidence cannot be taken together. You showed how petrol bombs, Molotov bombs were being thrown and people were hiding inside the gates of the university. You showed that how PFI radicals have been booked by the Lucknow and Kanpur police, and the ADGP of Kanpur police gave an exclusive interview to Times Now illustrating how these elements were planning this pre-planned, sponsored, violent protests in the name. So you see, there is a right to dissent, but it can't be a right to riot, and even the Supreme Court has said this. My final point is only this, that today there is CCTV footage and visuals available, basis of which the notices have been issued. The UP police hasn't just gotten up and sent notices to people it does not like. It has taken action as per the law, and the Supreme Court has said that if anybody does vandalism against public property, we should recover the money, we should take
in 2018, viewers, during the Bhima Koregaon agitation, 50 crores of public property, this is a conservative estimate, was destroyed. Dera Sacha Soda, the crackdown there, 126 crores worth of public property destroyed. Conservative estimates, viewers. 2016 Jat agitation, 2,000 crores. 2015 Pattidar Patidar agitation, Surat, Gujarat, 16 crores. No money has ever been recovered. It's been recovered from you and I. Yet the opposition has a problem. Why? Tell me, Nishant.
Okay.
Verma ji.
I am actually in for such kind of recoveries, but
in where? For, you mean?
Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it. But the problem is, you rightly pointed out few of them that nobody recovered. They were BJP government, but it should not come actually from Yogi Adityanath. The 2007 January rioting case, which was done by Hindu Vahini of his own, where he was accused. No, please don't interrupt. Please don't interrupt. No recovery was made. He has not done. In Muzaffarnagar riots of 2013, he has nearly taken back all the cases. So this cannot be one-sided affair by Yogi Adityanath. And there is where my objection comes into play. Otherwise, I would love that anyone who is there damaging public property.
Okay.
On the second
selectivity,
hand,
you're saying. It's all selective.
Just one more line. Similarly, here in UP, what you see is the double face of against what Karnataka is doing. 2 dangais were killed in bullet firing by police. Yedurappa compensated 10 lakh each. They were in the FIR. They both the names.
Okay. Let Mr. Bhatia respond. Mr. Bhatia, selectivity is the charge. I'll come to you, sir. Let him respond.
Okay. So Rahul, first of all, people who say that Constitution of India is being violated need to know that a citizen has the right to protest, but that protest cannot be violent. That right has not been granted by the Constitution of this country.
Dobara bana do, chalo.
And yes,
very good, sir. Thank you. Babri dobara bana do, chalo.
To ensure
it is for your liability and responsibility.
Did I speak in between,
Rahul?
No, did I speak in between, Rahul?
Babri dobara bana.
Sir, आप उनके ऊपर क्यों बोलते हैं? Do you have an agenda? Let him finish, no? अरे भैया आपने भी जो कहा है ना गलत कहा है. You said Yediyurappa gave 10 lakhs. That has been withdrawn. Do you know this? An inquiry is being. अरे भाई, an inquiry is being ordered. So don't mislead. You're a pot of fake news. You're a pot of fake news, sir. I have my patience with you, but you cannot constantly heckle other people when you ask them a question or you have sought an answer.
आप रोज के रोज.
Let him finish.
राहुल, आप रोज इनको स्टूडियो में आमंत्रित करते हैं. He sits on our head.
नहीं गलत है. नहीं गलत है. It's not an invitation, sir. Sir, Nishant ji, it is not an invitation to disrupt.
How can you have two different times?
Please, sir, देखिए, please stop. I beg you. Please, why can't you be like हमारे कायसर साहब? एक मिनट. Let him finish. पहले खत्म करने दीजिए, sir.
The king of Pakistan or
finish your point, Mr. Bhatia. Finish your point, please, and don't interrupt.
Is he Idi Amin of Uganda? Who is he?
मैं होता तो ठीक कर देता. चिंता मत करो तुम.
Please, let's not threaten each other. Please, keep quiet. Mr. Nishant Verma, keep quiet.
Please. एक साइड से नहीं होती है.
Please. Yes. Mr. Bhatia.
Shut up.
Mr. Bhatia.
औकात में.
Okay, don't lose your cool.
ये shut up किसी और को बोलना. Shut up किसी और को बोलना. देश तुम्हें shut up करा देगा बीजेपी को. कभी इसमें रहना.
Okay, gentlemen, I want to bring Mr. Kesar in.
I think 3 very quick points.
Yeah.
Any administration, more so Chief Minister of a state, which is a constitutional authority, should have been even-handed in dealing with the situation, number 1. Imposing all kinds of fine, recovery, etc., fair enough. First, the police denied that they did not fire a single bullet. So many deaths have happened. Yogi Adityanath would have done a great service to the sense of justice by making announcement those who killed in police firing will be hugely compensated. After all, they are young boys. Even if they indulge in violence, laws are strong enough to deal with them. But what is happening is that highly discriminatory approach that has been adopted by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. This is wrong.
What is your counter?
Mr. Kaiser, with utmost respect, you make a last point, but after this counter,
my understanding with Rahul is no interruption.
I know your affiliations. Just one counter.
No interruption.
What do you mean affiliations?
I know his affiliations. He has spoken about Yogi Adityanath. Mr. Manish Sisodia blamed the buses burning on the police when they did
bring
not
in
do it.
Jamia. Don't
Why
bring
not a
in
word
Jamia.
on that
Don't
selectivism,
bring in
on that
Jamia.
fake news?
I demanded
Isn't Mr.
judicial
Sisodia
inquiry.
a constitutional post holder? Rahul?
On
Be
this
very
channel,
honest. His points are
I
legitimate.
said
But what
Jamia
about Mr.
teachers
Sisodia?
demand judicial inquiry into burning of buses in Delhi.
The footage was shown on time.
No, forget about the footage. I'm saying, why don't you join me
in
demanding judicial inquiry?
No, sir, did you not show the CCTV footage?
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Bhatia. Mr. Bhatia, the question still stands. You need to allow Mr. Bhatia to respond. Mr. Bhatia, the charge is very simple. ठीक है, we laud you for taking action against vandals. Yes, they must pay up. But then commensurately, you must also bring the police to book because we have visuals of them also vandalizing public property. ठीक है, सुने बोलने तो दीजिए sir. Okay.
Unprovoked killing.
Yeah, unprovoked killing, whatever it is, on both sides should be investigated. Yes, come in.
Rahul, I absolutely agree with you in principle that there is a duty upon the citizens to have a peaceful protest. There is a duty on the police also not to use any excessive force. But at the same time, you won't decide, the opposition won't decide, or I won't decide. The court will decide who is guilty. Action has been taken by Yogi Adityanath ji's government, and it is in the interest of our state and country that we ensure that such hooligans are booked under law. Second, Muzaffarnagar riot, when there was a Congress government in the center and a Samajwadi Party government in the state, the Supreme Court reprimanded these two governments for not doing enough to ensure that there is peace. And that is why now Yogi ji is a firm administrator. He is taken control of the
intelligence
situation.
failure ho gaya.
Okay,
firm administrator
you can respond 1 second.
Who were pelting stones at the police. So that also cannot be justified.
Sir, I want to ask you a question. And you need to answer it honestly.
Very honest.
We have heard Sonia Gandhi speaking. Yeah. We have heard other politicians speaking. And they all obsessively are focusing on the violence from the police. Yeah. Sir, baat karne dijiye na. Let me just ask my question, please. So, you have a situation. Do you believe that is being fairly represented by politicians? Or are they also using today this violence to make a political point? It's a straightforward question. Can you answer it, sir?
I fully agree with you, but then one question is there. I cannot speak on behalf of any other politician. I as a citizen, I look up to constitutional authorities to deliver justice. What is happening in UP is not justice. Till such time those policemen are booked, compensation is made to people who are killed.
No, I'm asking you. I don't think any of us differs on this. I think all of us, sir, no. But you must, as a person who is a professor in Jamia, you know what happened there, sir, better than a lot of other people. You will agree with me when you will tell me right now, and I'm going to point it out, that a Congress politician was inciting students. You saw the videos.
I don't think that is correct. There's been a lot of...
Mr. Kaiser, let me just make one point. I accept when you say, we have seen footage on Times now, Rahul, of cops breaking property, cops hitting people. That's wrong.
Selectivism? No, both sides. Viewers, I don't know. I don't know, sir. I only see what I see. I only see what I see. Gentlemen, please don't cross talk. I need to wrap up. Okay, I need to wrap up.
क्यों नहीं डाला? FIR करके क्यों छोड़ दिया?
ठीक है, देखिए, I need to wrap up.
किया है, आप सबको डालो.
Instance after instance, and this is not just the anti-CA protest. Just go back in history. There are two sides. There is violence. There is counter-violence. It becomes a spiral. And then it becomes a race to the bottom. I don't care, viewers, at the end of the day. What I want and what you want is accountability from the police and those who take the law into their hands. Now, they could be students, they could be political activists, they could be rowdy elements, whoever. Let's build a just society.
Exactly.
I leave it at this. The news are coming up with Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan. Stay with us.